Hi, sweet boy. You're very cute. Look at the
I
nose.
don't know what he ate, but it'll
Oh,
come
you'll
out in the
find
wash.
out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shining Hawk Healing. I'm Tony, and my special guest, I have Jeanie here from Jeanie. Tell everyone what your company name is.
Sure, it's Four Paws Acupuncture, and I'm in Salem, Massachusetts.
Did you did you start doing acupuncture on people first?
Yes, I actually went to school in San Diego, Pacific College of Oriental Medicine.
Oh,
I lived in
yeah,
San
yeah.
Diego. I lived in Escondido forever, and then I moved to Hillcrest.
Wow.
So I've only lived in Salem for on and off 15 years. So yes, I went to school to become an acupuncturist, and because I was a glass artist in Escondido, I screwed up
Ooh.
my lungs. Long story
Oh.
short, acupuncture and Chinese medicine helped me to breathe again, and it changed my life. So when I was going to school, this was way back in the 90s, I had a German Shepherd, my soulmate Merlin, who had hip dysplasia. He was
Oh.
old. He was like 13 and a half. He was incontinent, arthritis, and the vet wanted to put him down. And I was like, oh, no, no.
Mm.
So I learned how to work on Merlin at school. I changed his diet. I did acupuncture. I gave him herbs, and he lived to be almost 15. And for a shepherd, that is really good. And that's when it was like, ding, ding, ding. I know what I want to be. I still had to treat people because depending on where you live, sometimes you like the laws are different in every state.
Mm-hmm.
So in Massachusetts, thank God I can treat animals again. So
Oh, wow. So the
yeah.
laws were against treating animals?
Well, no, in some states you have to be a veterinarian.
So that is an amazing story. You wanted to help your pet. Of course, that's how most of us get started in the healing arts, is that we come across something that triggers something in us
Right.
that says, this is what,
Yeah.
you're called to do. So thank you for being here.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
When I started thinking about having you on the show, I started to, there were so many questions that I have about their diet, about, the sun,
Right. I got
because
that
Goose,
one.
because Goose he's a white dog. I've never had a white dog before. And I ran into a neighbor who has a huge white dog, and he said something to me about, oh, I have to keep him out of the sun because he doesn't have that protection that the darker
Right.
dog.
Right.
So I started to think, oh my gosh, what do I have to
That's
do?
kind of like out of my scope because
Hmm.
I'm in New England now. I'm not in San Diego, so it's no problem. But I don't quote me on this, but I thought they made a sunscreen specifically for dogs, but maybe I
They
just
they
made
do.
that
They
up in my
make
head.
they have them in wipes. You can put them in,
Right.
you can put wipes on them. So I wipe him down before I send him out. And I also bought some little goggles
The
for
little
him.
goggles, right. And they also have the little hats, which
Yeah,
is
they have little
very
hats,
cute.
but
But
I
they
thought
usually
that
don't
would
like
be too
those.
ridiculous.
Yeah. It depends on the breed, though. Some actually go, whoa, yeah. Hat, you know.
He doesn't really like the
Pits
goggles that
don't,
much.
no, pits don't have that sense of humor about the hats. You could do it on a lab,
Yeah,
or a
they'll let you do
corgi.
anything.
Yeah.
So,
No.
but with rescue dogs, with my other dog, Lucy, who is very reactive, she gets in the vicinity of other dogs, and then she turns into the Tasmanian devil.
Well, like I said, I'm not a trainer. I'm an acupuncturist, but I've had German shepherds. At one time I had 3 German shepherds, and I found that they do that. They get into this pack mentality, even if they're not in the pack, they're protecting you.
Mm-hmm.
And they see these other dogs as danger. So it's like, I have to protect my mother, I have to protect my owner, my pack. So they do that. Another thing is some dogs just don't get along with other dogs. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like people, you know. So
Right.
with
Maybe
my
she's meant
shepherds,
to.
I couldn't have them near any other dogs because they were like this horrible pack of dogs.
Really?
But
Wow.
when the other two passed away and I only had Merlin, then I could take him to Ocean Beach. They have the dog beach there in
Uh-huh.
San Diego. I used to take him there all the time. He was fine. Of course, he was an old man by then, so he
Yeah.
really couldn't do anything. But, you know, had I brought all three together, I would have been arrested probably, you know. So I just, there is now, this is not a cure-all, and this is not something if you have an aggressive dog to think this is a magic cure. But
Mhm.
if you're familiar with the Bach flower remedies,
Yes.
okay, so you can give her Bach flower rescue remedy along with Vine, Vine, is one of the flower essences for aggression.
Okay.
And then
VINE.
the other one is if she's jealous, holly, the essence, not the flower. Don't give your
That's
dog
poison.
holly. Yeah, you'll kill him.
The
But
essence.
the you know, like I don't have one here, but the Bach flower stuff,
Okay.
vine and holly. And it's just gonna take the edge off. It's, you know, if you have a really aggressive dog, don't count on that working, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know we've the vet gave us like some pretty heavy drugs for her,
Right.
and it just made her really sort of like very lethargic and everything, but it didn't really take the aggression away.
Yeah.
So she's a
Right.
tiny little thing too, right? It's the little dogs.
Yeah. Well, they're the ones with the attitude.
Yeah.
They are. And you know, if you speak fluent canine, they're the ones that cuss all the time. You know? You don't even know what comes out of their mouth because you're like, you didn't say that, did you?
No, you just didn't say that to me. What'd you call me?
They cuss like sailors. So God knows what this little dog is saying to your dog.
Right.
Do either of them have allergies?
Not that I know of, because not that I know of. I don't see them doing a whole lot of scratching
Okay, so no
or
itching,
shaking their ears or
hot
stuff like that.
spots.
No hot spots.
Okay, so the
No.
thing with chicken is, couple things with chicken. You want to make sure it's organic and hormone free and
Mhm.
antibiotic free, because
Mhm.
that's a big cancer fertilizer.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So the other thing with chicken is it's more warming, it's more yang. So anybody with aggression, you know, because aggression is more of a yang characteristic, a more, you know, yang, fiery kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So foods that are
Oh.
more cooling and more yin may calm them down a little bit. So like turkey is more neutral and calming because it's got the tryptophan in it. And it's easier to
Of
find
course.
turkey without I don't know if they can put estrogen in turkey. I don't remember. I think there's either they can't do the antibiotics or the estrogen in turkey because it kills the turkeys.
Wow.
But turkey. So turkey's better than chicken because
Okay.
you're not heating up the dog and it's
Okay.
neutral.
That's a good one. What
There was
about chicken livers? Is that the same if I
well,
give
chicken
them
is chicken.
well, chicken is chicken. Okay. So if I look for, because I know that liver is so good for them, but do I give them beef liver or
Oh no, beef is worse. Beef is
worse? Oh,
warming.
geez.
I mean, if you have to
Okay.
do if
I
you
don't
have
have
to
to
do
do the
liver,
liver. I don't have to do the
yeah,
liver.
I mean, if I don't know. I I'm one of those people that gag at everything. So when I'm feeding my dog, I you know,
So
you
what
have
do
no
you feed
idea.
your dog?
My poor dog, but I cooked for my dog as she got old. I cooked for all my dogs when they got older. When they were younger, I still cooked for them, but they ate the good kibble and the good wet food. And then at night I cooked them a turkey meal. So they would get cooked turkey with carrots. Also, carrots and celery are
Mhm.
very good for the liver, and they, in Chinese medicine, they pacify the liver, which means they calm you down. So if you're an angry person, do carrots and celery.
Okay.
Carrot juice and celery juice are good to pacify the liver. So it's like very calming. So same with dogs. You could, like with my dog, I did, and I'll send you the recipe, but so I would take ground turkey at night, cook it up in a little skillet with a little bit of water, some carrots, some celery, parsley. Parsley is very cooling too. You can
Okay.
do dried parsley or fresh parsley. It's really good for stinky dog breath. It does.
It's
And
good for stinky human breath
it
too.
is. So pretty, and here's the thing. If you eat meat, you can have the same meal as your dog that night. So that's what I did for my dog every night, and she loved it. And the other thing I would add was green beans. She loved green beans, and they're very
Green bean.
cooling too. So any
Okay.
green vegetable.
So what about cauliflower
Well,
and
that's all good. The only drawback to that is it's cruciferous and you're going to have gas.
oh
Okay, so it's not bad for them, but if you're having a party that night, I wouldn't give your dog a cruciferous meal.
depending on how old they are then
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come out. But it's good for them. Oh, cucumbers. If your dog will eat cucumbers too.
Oh,
And the
really?
other thing, my dog would eat a carrot, just like a raw carrot every night for dinner, for a snack.
Yeah.
And she liked
Wow.
eating that. So
That's good.
pretty much people food is not bad for your dog. Sorry. You just want to think in terms of, okay, what is this good for with people?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with dogs. So like all the green leafy vegetables are good. And they build the blood and they're going to help the liver.
Okay.
So
Green
there's nothing
leafy.
wrong with broccoli and Brussels sprouts. It's just gas.
So they can eat lettuce?
Some dogs do, some won't. The only thing you really don't want to feed a dog is onions are toxic.
And
So
garlic.
like if you're cooking for your dog and you buy broth, make sure there's no onions in it.
Okay.
Because it's hard to find broth without onions, people broth.
Right.
I don't know if bone broth has onions in it or not. I'm not sure. I don't
know. I think it does. I think
Does
it
it? I
may
don't
have
know.
garlic in it as well. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
And the other thing is you don't want to give them grapes or raisins.
No grapes and no raisins. Okay. No grapes.
No wine. No beer either, but
It's
sometimes you
a
have to
good
tell
thing I
people
stopped
this.
drinking.
You'd be surprised what you have to tell people. It's scary. There should be like an IQ test before you get a dog.
Well, you know what? We don't get tests before we have kids either. So
I know.
I was going to ask you too about dog parks. I know that this is probably not your area of expertise, but dog parks, are they safe for dogs?
Well, I never brought my dogs to dog parks because I had mostly rescues, and then I had the pack of shepherds, which would not have worked out. But personally, around here, I wouldn't go near the dog park even without a dog because it's so
Wow.
bad here.
Wow.
You just have it, they don't monitor it. I would have to say it depends on the dog park, and you're going to have to ask other dog owners in the area because every dog park, some of them are really good and they're monitored and they have rules and people follow them, and other ones are just like a free for all, or
Yeah.
so that you have to just, that one's out of my league, I think.
Yeah.
I think too, no offense to anyone who has pit bulls, but a lot of times if you just bring a pit bull anywhere, especially to a public, like a dog park, it flips other people out because no offense to pit bulls, but they've got that stigma.
Yeah.
And so even if you have the nicest pity in the world, you're going to have that person that flips out,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like I said, with my shepherds, there's no way I would have brought them to a dog park because
Yeah.
just having a shepherd is enough to flip some people out. You
Yeah.
know.
I mean, we have a yard and there are two of them, so they keep each other busy and
Right.
entertained all the time. So I'm not going to really worry too much about it. The older Lucy, she's not going to be socialized, I don't think,
Right.
ever. So,
Well, that's the
so
thing with a rescue though, because you don't know what happened to them.
mhm,
So something might have happened to her that we
yeah.
don't know about it, you know.
Yeah, it's sad that because she's such a sweet girl, right? She loves to crawl up into your lap, and she'll crawl into your skin if you allow it, because she wants to
Oh,
get so close. But it's just that one thing when you take her out and see other dogs. If she hears another dog, she might go a little
right.
crazy. So so there's that. So what do you see most when people bring their dogs to you? What is the most common ailment that you treat?
Probably arthritis in
Mm,
dogs, hip dysplasia, knee problems. Um, older dogs get DM where they start dragging their back legs and
yeah, what is that?
yeah, the shepherds get it a lot, and even smaller dogs. I have a couple that I'm treating, but I would say the main thing is arthritis and hip dysplasia is like
Yeah,
and the knee stuff, knee and shoulders, all the
yeah,
joints. Sort of
yeah,
like with humans, most people get acupuncture because their back hurts, right? And so, when dogs get older, they they get out arthritis like we do,
yeah. I when I go to acupuncture, I go for the just the calming, and I
Right.
just go to just feel more balanced, and then really get
The
that
yin
needle
tone,
in that
yeah.
third eye. Just
The
like,
unicorn
oh.
point. It's a
I just
magic unicorn point.
yeah, I just
It is.
go, I just turn into like a wet noodle. I just like,
Right. Yeah. I like to do that point on dogs, but sometimes it's hard. You get a dog that's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they shake it out. I had one yesterday. I was like, okay, I give up. You're not kidding. I just put rescue remedy on the point and just, because it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When that's what I was gonna ask you, how do dogs react to the needles? Um, do you
Then,
have to give them a rescue remedy beforehand,
well,
or
what I do is I don't just, when the dog comes in first, the first thing I do is they have to get used to me the very first time. So I wear scrubs. I'm out of that office, but I don't do the lab coat, that thing. And I'm on
Mm,
the floor with the dog. I don't put them up on that table thing because they hate that and I hate it. So I'm on the floor with them. And for like the first half hour of the session, I'm just trying to massage. I try to do some energy work, just feel where's the pain coming from. Talk to the owner, talk to the dog, give them a cookie with some rescue remedy.
mm,
And just kind of feel around and see what they're going to let me do. Because the first time they come in, they might not let you near them. Most of the time they do, but every once in a while you get one that's like nuts or it's just too much pain to let you near them.
mm.
So I do the massage first, and then I do laser first. Before I do the acupuncture, I go with the laser and I go up and down the meridians and all the points I want, because with the dog, you cannot needle everything you want. Because if you needle something they don't like, that's it.
Right, they
Whereas
won't do
I could
that.
needle you and go, okay, this point might hurt a little bit, but it'll be gone in 2 seconds, right? And
Right.
you'll get over it. The dog is like, she hurt me, even if it was only 2 seconds, and he's not gonna let me near him.
Mm,
So I'll take the laser and do that point over and over and over so that I know that I got my bases covered. And then after that, then I put the needles in. And by that time, they're usually like, okay, she's not gonna hurt me. And you know, like I said, there's always like 1 in 20 that'll just make a liar out of me. I have one dog. I'm treating one dog right now that as soon as it comes in the room, it wants to attack me. And thank God it's a little dog
Whoa.
If it was a big dog, I'd be like, no, because it's a little room, you know? And it's like, so I just stand way back with the laser.
Yeah.
And it works. After a while, it calms down. But, you know, the first time I treated this dog, I was like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. But, you know, the owner is so sweet. It's a rescue dog. It's a rescue dog, and it's had some trauma, and it was injured. And the poor thing is, who knows if I remind him of the vet that hurt him or the groomer that hurt him or whatever. But I've treated him for the third time yesterday, and yesterday was like the first time he came up and licked me. Thank God you licked me.
You've
like,
been
okay,
accepted
now. So, but he still won't let me needle him. And he's the only dog I treat that won't let me needle him.
Wow.
But most dogs, especially the bigger dogs, they cooperate.
The labs, it must be really easy.
You could, you just have to have some cookies for labs. They don't care what you do to them. You can hang them by their ears as long as you're feeding them while you're doing it. So I do have these little cookies. I forget who they're made by, but there's no wheat, no gluten, no nothing in them. But they're like really, really small. And you know, lab will eat that whole box if you let them.
Yes.
So I have the owner like cut them in half and just kind of. And then I have another woman, very smart. She brings in a Kong filled with, I guess, some kind of broth, like bone broth or something. It's a dog formulated bone broth, and she freezes it, and the lab just lays there and licks it, which is like, that's
whoa, really?
Yeah. So that's you know, but for the most
that is
part,
a great idea.
And they behave better than people, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
They're not checking your cell phone, you know, they don't want to get up with the needles in them most of the time, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That brings me to my next question about treats. How many treats is too many treats?
Well, that's like how many potato chips is too many potato chips. Right?
My favorite junk food.
Okay. Half the bag, whole bag. First off, you want to make sure your treats have no wheat or gluten in them. Okay. Don't buy the crappy treats at the grocery store. Okay. Even Whole Foods has crappy treats. Okay. Don't, for entertainment purposes only. Don't.
For entertainment purposes only, people.
So even Amazon, and I don't have them here because I'm not at the vet office, but I think they're like little buddy treats or no, I don't know. They come in a box and it's gluten-free. I think it just has like maybe garbanzo flour in them or something like that. And then the other ones I have are they're all tiny. Sweet potato treats. Oh. Like they're like sweet potato and they're really tiny too. So you can give them a couple of those and you don't feel like you're giving them a whole milk bone or something. And then, you know, something like the elk antlers. Have you ever seen those? The elk antlers. Okay,
I buy those.
That's a great treat because most dogs like those.
Yeah.
And most dogs won't eat it in the first time. I know it'll last a while unless it's a lab, but they last a long time. And the other thing about them is, in Chinese medicine, that's used for joint pain. Elk antler and reindeer antler is used for joint pain. So it's really good, like in cold, damp weather, for your dog to have that.
Elk antlers. Okay.
Yeah, they have to be careful with them. You want to buy the ones made in the USA for entertainment purposes only. And if you're going to like a big pet store, you want to make sure you're not buying an old one. Because I bought like ones at like the big box pet stores that were old or moldy. So you just have to be real careful when you get them.
They're so expensive though.
They're very expensive. So you
get it's moldy, you can't little shard.
Yeah. Well, if you get don't get the ones cut in half. Get the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay. Because the ones cut in half, they seem to go bad quicker. And I'm always worried with that. They're pointy, you know.
They get so sharp.
Yeah.
It's like a shiv.
But there are a few companies that sell them, and I can't remember the name of the company right now, but I've even found them on Amazon, you know.
Oh, okay.
So check the ratings, make sure they're the US and it's a farm in probably Montana or Wyoming or one of those places where they have elk
A
and
lot of elk.
reindeer and those things.
Yeah.
But most dogs like those. So, and that's
Yeah.
something they can chew on all day and it's not going to give them that many calories.
Yeah.
Carrots are a perfect treat if they like carrots.
So how many carrots can they have a day?
I don't know. My dog never ate more than 2 in one day, but I don't
Okay.
know if you can OD on carrots, you know.
Yeah, I get. I mean,
I have a lab patient that eats carrots, and he also, the owner said he eats a cucumber every day.
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a lab though. Okay.
Right. But could you give,
Um,
could I, for instance, could I give them like a stalk of celery?
Yeah, it's not going to hurt them if they eat it. It's celery. Celery's harmless, I think. I mean, I've never heard of anyone ODing on celery.
Okay.
It's just water, you know, right? So things like that you know, there's no calories in it.
Right, right. And it's good for their joints or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Carrots. Yeah.
That's
Because you can
good.
buy, I don't know about where you're at, but here, if I go to the farm stand, I can get like the big carrots they give the horses.
Right, right, right.
And that's what I
Okay.
would give. Like tomorrow I have the lab that eats the cucumbers. So I have 3 carrots in the refrigerator that I'm gonna, you know, bring in, 2 for him and 1 for the dog after him, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I wanted to double back on when you were doing the meridian work. Do dogs have, like, we have 7 chakras? How many chakras does a dog have?
they have at least as many as we do.
Okay.
The thing is I'm going to try to put this real simple. We have at least 365 acupuncture points on the body, maybe more. Okay. And we have the pathways to go up and down and around. The dogs have the same exact ones. The points are the same. The functions are the same. The points are in the same spot on the dog as a human. So when I was first learning how to work on the dog, to remember where the points are on the dog is like, I find the point on myself and put myself into downward dog. And wherever that is on downward dog, like, so this is the elbow. Okay, I'm downward dog. That's where it is on the point, you know, the dog. So same with chakra. If, you know, it's going to be there, it's going to be there. So wherever it is on you, go into downward dog. And that's where that chakra is on the dog. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does.
Yeah.
Makes sense to Goose too.
Yeah. So that's what I do. And I forget where a point is. I first find it on myself. And then, you know.
Yeah. That's interesting. So
with acupressure, you know, you can work on your dog and just do the same points you would do on a human.
same. So which one would be the stop barking one?
If I knew that, I'd have my own island, right? Barking's a whole nother thing. There's so many factors with that, because it's like, are they trying to tell you something? Are they in pain? Are they just barking because they think it's funny? Are they alerting you of something? You know, that's out of my league, because fortunately I didn't have any of those dogs that barked all the time. I treat a patient that's a barker. And there is no magic point for that.
Is it getting dark where you are? Because you're sort of.
You need light. Oh, well, I'm on East Coast time, so. Better?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
better. I started to lose you. I was like, I'm losing her in the tree. I love the tree, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It's 4:45 here, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I used to live in Manhattan, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
How do you know? How can I tell if my dog is not feeling well as opposed to just
In pain.
in pain?
Okay, so I just did a YouTube that's coming out the end of the week about this on my channel. So unless you speak fluent canine, once again, it's not like your dog's gonna say, hey, my head hurts, my shoulder hurts.
Yeah.
So it could be something sudden, or it could be subtle. Like, you don't know, was your dog roughhousing outside and he hurt himself and you didn't see it, so you wouldn't know.
Right.
It could be trauma. It could be a broken bone or a fracture, or he could have sprained something, or it could be like a kidney infection or cancer, or, it could be this variety of reasons why this dog all of a sudden maybe starts. Is he acting different? Is he not jumping up when you're coming home anymore?
Yeah.
Is he panting more? Is he crying more or complaining more? Is he barking more than usual? When you go to pet him, does he cower, or does he not let you touch the back anymore? Like, a lot of times dogs are very protective. So if you go to pet their back and their backs or hips hurt, they won't let you near them. So that's a sign there.
Right.
Is he walking slower? Does he have trouble going up and down the steps now? Or does he act like he's careful going up and down the steps?
Wow.
Does he just look depressed? Is he sleeping more? Is he just kind of, I don't want to play anymore? Problem is, if it's something that's gradual, you don't see it.
Right.
Like something like arthritis, you don't see it the next day. It comes on slow, and then all of a sudden you go, he's walking funny, or he's not jumping anymore. I forgot he used to jump when I came home, or he's not playing, or he doesn't look happy. With dogs, it's harder, because with us, we go, oh, this hurts, and we complain about it, but they complain in a different way.
It's really hard to pinpoint exactly what's going wrong, but you do know that something is, going wrong. I just thought that maybe there was, this, I guess every dog is different, so you never know what could be happening.
My dog, Kuan Yin, she passed away during the pandemic, and we had moved back to Salem, and I thought maybe that was making her unhappy. I don't know. You just don't know, because I don't know. And then I realized she started walking slower, and she was just not herself. And then I gave her a bath one day, and I noticed there's this little tumor on the back of her leg, and it was like, oh. And then, we found out it was cancer, and remind me to tell you about the mushrooms for cancer, but so we did everything we could to keep that at bay, but you reach a point that there's nothing you can do, and it was right on the ankle, so the only option was amputation, which at this time she was already 13, and we have these funky steps here in Salem, and there was just no way I could get a 80-pound dog up the steps. And there was just one day that she had a seizure, and we knew she had a seizure, and that was it. So we had to take her to the vet, and it was during the pandemic, and the vet I worked for, I wasn't working because it was during the pandemic, and she couldn't even make a house call because nobody was allowed to make house calls. So
wow.
Yeah. So you just stuff like that, just you don't notice it. It just appears sometimes,
Yeah. So, and labs are notorious for the hip dysplasia, right? It's because
labs and shepherds.
And shepherds, yeah.
The bigger dogs. The bigger the dog bill. But I'm a big dog girl. I want a big dog. I like big dogs. I just think they're way more fun. I like the little dogs too. But big dogs I get, Big dogs make me feel small,
Yeah. Well, you're small anyway.
No, I don't know. Well, everyone has their, what they love the most, And I think you always love the first one you fell in love with forever. So, But the bigger the dog, because you think about it, they have more weight.
Yes.
Like Great Danes. Look at Great Danes.
Oh my
They have so many problems, and they're such wonderful dogs.
They're so sweet, though. Couldn't imagine.
They're so big. Yeah. And the vet bills. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a Great Dane, get pet insurance, okay?
Yeah.
No, really.
because you're gonna need it.
You're gonna need it. You have a shepherd too. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. And shepherds are, you know, that they have that notorious sort of
The slope.
in the back.
Right.
Are they? Why do they?
Well, because that's how they were bred, and then shepherds got really like when I lived in San Diego, everyone had a shepherd. It was like everyone had shepherds, and I think there was so much overbreeding, you know, and with all breeds get like that. You know, a breed becomes popular, and then all of a sudden there's like a million of these dogs, and then they all get these funky diseases, and so, but shepherds now, the German shepherds, the American German shepherds are bigger. You know, they're the ones with the slope, and they have the most problems. But the Czech shepherds are a little bit smaller, and they don't have the slope as much. So the police now are doing the Belgian shepherds and the Czech shepherds mostly because they have less of a slope. And even I don't know if you've heard of the monks in New Skeet. Have you ever heard of the monks in New Skeet? No. They raised the German shepherds. They wrote all the books on shepherds and how to raise your dog. Oh, they're like the kahunas of, they're like St. Francis of Assisi come alive. You know, I used to go up and visit them all the time, and it's like you think you're in heaven with these dogs. They used to have the big shepherds, and then a lot of them started, and they were importing them from Germany. And then they started getting problems, so they started doing the Czech shepherds because they were smaller and they didn't have that slope. So it's a shame because they're such beautiful dogs, you know. They're just gorgeous. Dogs.
And so I mean, so trainable. It's like
so smart.
Like the best breed. Well, I don't know if they're the best breed, but they're so trainable. I guess that's why a lot of law enforcement use them because
they're so smart. I hate to have a favorite, but I do have, and you know, the love of my life was a shepherd, and every time I see a shepherd, I just want to run up to it. And you can't, because you just don't know what that shepherd's going to do if you run up and kiss it, you know. Plus, it scares the owner, you know.
I know my daughter bought us some of those DNA kits for the dogs, and Goose came back 98% pity. And Lucy came back, I think she was in the 80s somewhere. She had like, she had Pug.
Really?
And she had Chihuahua.
Wow. But she's the one from Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay. That would make sense. I mean, because you've ever gone down there, you see all those dogs running around in Tijuana, and, you know, they're...
You know, they're all just a whole big mixed bag of stuff.
Exactly.
It's just weird that she would come out so much because she looks like a pointer. She's black and white with all the spots on her. And when we first got her, she was doing that, you know, arm up kind
of the arm thing, pointing thing.
Thought, oh, she's a pointer, and they said she was a pointer, but the DNA came back saying that she'd have no pointer. No pointer.
But there's other breeds that point beside the pointers. Some of the herding dogs point. My dog, Kuan Yin, she was part Newfie and part Border Collie.
Wow, what did that look like?
There's pictures of her on my website, but she looked like she had a Border Collie face, but a Newfie body. So she had a very pretty face, but she had the Newfie tail, and she had the Newfie hair, which was still all over this house, even though she's passed away like a year and a half ago. I'm still finding hair everywhere. But she got abandoned in the Tennessee floods back in 2010 or something.
Oh, right.
Every time it was going to rain, even if it was a day before, she would go up to the window and point, and we would know it was going to rain that day.
Oh my God.
Or storm. It'd be like, okay, storm coming, put the thunder shirt on. You know, she would just point at the window.
And do those things work? The thunder shirts, they really do.
Nothing's 100%, but they do help, and they helped her.
Okay.
It took a lot for her with thunder. She was so terrified. We had to do the rescue remedy. We did thunder shirts. Calms Forte Highlands, homeopathic Calms Forte, I would give her that. And there's, it's made by Nature Vet, NATUR.
Is that a calming thing?
The calming things with melatonin.
I think I have that one.
Yeah, so if I knew it was going to storm, I'd give her that too. And at night, I'd give her one of those because she was,
yeah, couldn't sleep at night, right?
But yeah, it took a lot to get her to calm down because she was just,
so traumatized.
She was so traumatized. The poor thing. God knows what happened to her,
Gosh, if we could only speak animal, that would be awesome.
I know. It's so sad because you just don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing with their health history too. Like you don't know what their past health history is. So you don't know if they have the hip dysplasia hereditary or cancer or you don't know until it happens,
Right. So.
Yeah.
So that, wow, I've learned so much.
Oh, thank you.
I am so just, you blew my mind when you said that turkey was better than chicken, because I was, I was under the impression it was the opposite. It was so the opposite. And that just makes so much sense.
And the other thing about chicken is if your dog has allergies, cut out the chicken. Okay. Cut out chicken and eggs, and 85% of the time, that's the problem. And it's so hard to do because if you, even the kibble, you might buy a good kibble that says it has fish in it. But if you read the ingredients down later, it'll be chicken meal or egg or.
Right.
So you have to be real careful that there's no chicken, because chicken will cause allergies and hot spots and itchy eyes and all kinds of stuff.
That's no.
Oh, and the ear stuff. It causes the ear. A lot of times it'll cause ear problems too. And you don't think about that.
No,
you just don't think about that.
I was like, what about the rice? Is rice?
Oh, okay. So rice is okay as long as your dog's not allergic to rice, and you would know because they would have allergy symptoms. But so brown rice is good for the nutrients and the fiber, and for an older dog, it's not bad for a younger dog, but if you have an older dog, or if you're in a cold temperature, it's more warming and hearty. Okay. White rice is good for the dogs who have loose stools and diarrhea, or maybe get worse when it's hot out, or if it's hot and damp out, or even hot and dry. Like when I cooked for my dog Merlin, I make him like a Chinese congee, and I would use sometimes a little bit of brown rice because he was so old and went to nutrients, but because he had incontinence and it was loose, and because we were in San Diego and it was hot, I used mostly white rice because white firms up the stool.
Right.
And white rice is cooling and it drains damp, whereas brown rice is more tonifying, So like if you're a sick old lady, you want the brown rice. Okay. If you are like some football player and you're sweating like a pig, do the white rice. Okay.
Good to know.
You got to put everything in human terms. It's easier to think, Yeah.
And I love that you put everything in the sort of the cooling, warming categories, because that's so much about our own constitutions and how we can sort of balance our bodies out when we understand the cooling or the warming properties of different foods that we eat. So that's wow.
Well, it's part of Chinese medicine, but it's once, like even when I treated people, I mostly only treated women. And then you have these women come in with hot flashes, and it's like, what are you eating? Are you going out for Mexican food every night? Well, what do you think? You're going to burst into flames, have it once a week and it's worth bursting into flames. But if you're eating spicy food every night with a bottle of wine, pour gasoline on it, you might as well just torch yourself. Right? So save that for the weekend and know that you're going to be up all night. And then during the week, behave, have the cooling vegetables and the neutral foods. So it's just, if your symptoms are made worse by hot or heat, then you need cooling foods.
Right.
Same with your dog. If the dog is worse when it's hot and damp or hot and dry, they need cooling foods. If they're worse when it's cold, like when it's cold here, you have to keep your dog warm. So you want maybe add cinnamon to their food because it's warming, or turmeric, or more hearty foods. Cooked foods are more hearty than raw, or So it's just where are you living too is going to depend on what your dog is going to eat.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And what you're going to eat too.
Yes, absolutely. I used to get cold all the time. And then now that I'm older, I get more, I'm more heated. I don't know.
Right.
You would think that it would be the opposite way around because you're younger, you burn hotter. Right. And then when you get older, you're slowing down. So you think that you would burn cooler, but I don't know. Women are different, I guess.
Women are different.
Men. So yeah. Oh my gosh, this has been so great. I don't want to go. So what is what do you find the most satisfying about being an acupuncturist for pets? Being a health provider for pets, what do you find most?
It's fun. It's, when I was treating people, I was not happy. I'm an empath and I pick up on way too much stuff. I don't want to know. Whereas with a dog, there's just unconditional love. They're not, how much is this going to cost? And I got to get to my phone. And I'm fighting with my boyfriend. And the dog's like, she's going to give me a cookie. I like her.
And that's it. That's the name of
it. I come home. I'm tired. I'm beat up when I come home, but I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy because I get covered in kisses and fur for the most part. Every once in a while, you get the psycho dog, but that's whatever. Or you'll get the psycho owner, which is like, oh, could you,
take a two-step back.
Stay outside the room so I can be alone with the dog, but I can't do that. For liability reasons, the owner has to be in the room.
Oh,
but it's a whole different vibe because there's no judgment. There's no.
It's just unconditional.
It's just unconditional. It's just pure. And it's fun. Dogs have a sense of humor. I mean, I do treat some cats, but they're hard. And I don't treat that many cats. But dogs, they're funny.
So is it just cats and dogs? Or do you do other pets?
Unicorns, and that's it.
Unicorns?
No birds. Birds are nuts. I don't want to needle a bird. They bite. We have a chicken at the office I work at. This
really?
That was in the office. It scares the hell out of me. It bit me once because I was feeding the dog and he came up and I wanted a treat and I wouldn't give it a treat and it bit me. It was like, oh my God, I've never been bit by a chicken. Yeah, it's the vet that owns the hospital. She had a bunch of chickens in her yard. She lives out more in the country and not in Salem. And we have, I don't know if you know what a Fisher cat is. They're like really mean. They're like badgers. They're really mean. They're like something out of a fairy tale. Look it up. They're really mean animals. And they really are. They're really scary. And the Fisher cats came in and killed most of her chickens. And this chicken fought off the Fisher cat.
Wow.
So she brought it into the office now for protection. But now I'm scared of the chicken. No one else is.
Chicken doesn't mess around.
But I don't treat birds, no. And then like horses, no, we're not in horse country. I mean, there are horses, right. But I never treated a horse because that's a whole nother.
Wow.
It's the same principle, but I don't speak equine. I've only been around a horse a couple times in my life, so I honestly wouldn't know how to communicate with it. As opposed to dogs, I feel like I can be on the level with them, you know.
Yeah.
But a horse, it's like they pick up, oh, she's scared, I might kick her, you know. They pick up that
No, there's
she fell off a horse when she was young, and she, you know. So I don't. I'd be rich if I could treat horses, though. I would be very rich if I treated horses.
yeah, because horses, well, horses are so gentle.
Yeah, but
You know, but they have long memories.
they have a memory. But I don't know enough about them, honestly, to treat a horse.
Mm.
I mean, you know, I just don't think it would be right for me to take on a horse patient that I have no concept of how to do it.
So so you prefer dogs. So when it is there one breed that you just can't, you know, you can't really relate to? Is there anything
Yeah,
is there a breed
forgive me. Okay. Chihuahuas are the hardest breed to treat. Okay. I'm sorry if you have a Chihuahua. It's nothing against you, but here's the problem with Chihuahuas. They're really skinny and tiny, so there's nothing to needle. It's like needling a little chicken. There's no fat.
Right,
Whereas,
right.
you know, other dogs, even if it's a little dog, there's like some little bit of fat or skin,
Right.
but Chihuahuas are just skinny, and you know, I don't put needles in deep anyway. And even in a big dog, they may go down no more than 1/4 of an inch. You know, I don't go deep needle, but with a Chihuahua, first of all, they're, you know, so you're trying to get the needle in and they're like this, and it's just so hard to needle. I've treated 2 Chihuahuas, and I would have to go there armed with turkey and Comes Forte, and you know, I would say they're the hardest ones to treat.
Oh, okay.
Cats are easier than Chihuahuas.
Wow. Because if the needle hits the bone, is that just super?
Well, there's nowhere to needle. You don't want it to hit the bone. It might hurt.
Right.
And you want it to go in, you know, inside the point where there's skin, like, you know, like I have a little bit of fat here, so I can put a needle in here, but I'm not going to needle right on. I might needle near this bone here, but I would angle it. It's hard to do that with a dog, you know.
Yeah.
Like with a human, you can say, okay, I'm going to do this, keep still.
Mm-hmm.
With a Chihuahua, you don't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
they won't. Because Chihuahuas have.
And the other thing is, usually a Chihuahua, the owner usually has to hold it, because the Chihuahua just won't lay there and let you do what you want. Whereas, you know, the bigger dogs or even the medium dogs will usually lay there, and I'll be on the floor and I can do what I want.
Right, right.
So I'm not working around the owner's arms and, you know, that kind of thing.
Right, right. Oh gosh.
And they don't have the problems. They don't have the problems that big dogs have. So I don't get that much, you know.
They tend to live a lot longer too, right?
Yeah.
Because they're so small and they don't have to walk much.
Yeah, they don't.
People pick them
They have
up.
different problems.
Yeah. Because their brains are so small.
Well, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to piss off anybody. Forgive me.
Entertainment purposes only.
They're cute dogs. They really are. I just
till they start losing their minds, and then it's like, oh, okay, beware this little thing who thinks they're big as the world.
Yeah.
It's nice. Oh my gosh, I could just be here forever just talking to you about this, you know, about pets. And I when I grew up, we didn't have dogs. I had a dog outside that lived outside, but we didn't have dogs in the house. So little by little, year by year, I've gotten more and more in love with dogs. I'm more and more in love with having and being, you know, I mean, now Goose sleeps on my back.
Right.
So it's like having a weighted blanket.
Right. Right.
There's just so much, you know, just so much calmness and just relaxation that comes.
And you don't want to move, you know?
No. God forbid I have to move.
I know.
So
I know.
this has been wonderful. And tell everyone what the name of your channel is.
It's Four Paws Acupuncture, FOUR, Paws, Acupuncture with one C, ACU, not ACUUC, Four Paws Acupuncture on YouTube. And it's, if you can't remember that, just go to fourpawsacupuncture.com and all my information's on there too. But
On your website.
It's spelled out. It's not the number 4.
So, and you have a website, which is the same thing, .com.
Yes,
So you can go
fourpawsacupuncture.com.
to Jeannie's
I think
website.
it's spelled out there on the under my name here. Yeah. Is it?
Yes, Jeannie Four Paws Acupuncture. Yes, it's there. So yay! I'm just so happy. I'm
Well,
starting
thank
to lose
you.
you
I
in
had
the
fun.
light.
I was nervous about this because I'm a rookie to this YouTube thing, and
Oh no, don't worry
Yeah.
about it. You might need a little more light though, because
because it's what's Well, I didn't expect darkness to approach.
I know it's just
We still have winter here. We're still in winter here.
Yeah. Is it cold? Really cold right now?
It was so cold last weekend. It was like below 0. It was like 13 below.
Wow.
It was just crazy. I was like running my faucets. I had the heat cranked up, and me and the cat were just hiding in the bedroom with the heat. Today it's like 30 something, and I'm still cold. I'm colder today because it's damp out. Whereas last week, well, maybe because I didn't go outside either, but today I'm cold.
Because you didn't want to die. Going outside was crazy.
But you probably heard I just had the heat go off because it's still cold.
Yeah, it's kind of cold here too. I mean,
You're in Southern California?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's in the mornings. It's kind of cold. I get up pretty early, and then when I take Goose for his walk, it was like, I guess it was in the 40s today.
Oh, really?
So it's for California. That's pretty cold.
Yeah, that is.
And
yeah, I don't remember it ever getting that cold in San Diego.
I was born in Chicago, so
so you're used to it.
So I know cold.
Right.
And I
but
know
once
snow.
you live there, once you live in Southern California for a while, you turn into a weenie, and because I was born on the East Coast, and then I moved to San Diego, and then you reach a point after you're there for like 20 years, if it's 60 degrees, you're putting on thermals or something,
Yeah, right. Because your blood starts to thin, right? It's
right.
Just you don't have that, and I am a wimp now. I can't take the cold anymore.
Right. I understand.
Not that I could take it then, but yeah. So, but thank you so much for being on the show. I wanted to have you back.
Okay, I'd love
talk
to.
About other things and to talk about what's going on your channel. And
thank you.
And
think of more questions for
I will. And
I'm
everybody
happy to answer them. I love doing that.
Awesome.
I do.
So if you have any questions for Jeannie, just put them in the comment section underneath this video, and the next time that we're together, we'll go over those questions.
Yeah. And also on my YouTube channel, if you go over there and leave questions, I've been making little videos from questions that people have for me too. So
go over to Jeannie's channel. You don't even have to do it here. Go over there.
No, stay here too.
You get the direct line.
Questions here. Yeah.
Get the direct line to all her knowledge and her expertise in this. I love it that you do acupuncture for pets. It's just another way for us to love our pets. And
exactly.
It's a non-invasive way. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. Give your dogs a kiss for me.
I will.
I would wake my old cat up to show you, but he's sleeping, and we don't want to wake the monster up.
Never wake a sleeping
awake. He will retaliate. So
when you least expect it.
2 in the morning. Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for being here. Walk in beauty, walk in joy, and walk in love. Walk with your pets. Take your pet for a while.
And kiss your pets for me.
And kiss your pets. So have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goosey Boo. Hi, sweetheart.